If Blade Runner had a kid with Far Cry 3's expansion Blood Dragon, you would get this vehicle, which looks like a cross between a DeLorean and a Pontiac Aztek. This is a Cybertruck, and I kind of like it. I'll see you guys on the other side, and let's get into it. If you're new to the channel, I cover Toyota and Lexus vehicles. That is my bread and butter, but you guys, well, a lot of my viewers know that deep down, I like all cars. I wouldn't necessarily own all cars, but I do like all of them. I respect all of them, and I enjoy learning about them. And Tesla being kind of the forefront of electric vehicles, I definitely pay a ton of notice to what they're doing. Cybertruck really caught my eye. Okay, before we head on over to the website and kind of dissect everything about the vehicle, at least specifications and things like that. The biggest thing that everyone's talking about this vehicle, at least in the news, the headlines like, oh my gosh, that metal ball bearing destroyed those windows that are supposed to be, you know, like bulletproof and shatterproof. Well, everyone's saying that's a con. This vehicle's not coming out for another couple more years. So this is actually good for them. Why is it good for them? Well, what they thought was already a very highly refined product, which was their unbreakable glass. Well, it turns out it had plenty of flaws in it, and that's why it shattered on their live debut. I think it's a good thing for the company because it gives them so much more time to refine that glass. Imagine if they would have shipped it with that glass, right? What if they wouldn't have made any changes to it just because it wouldn't have broke in that live press event? So I do think it is a good thing for Tesla. A lot of people are spinning it as a bad thing, but they have 2 to 3 years to fix it. So it is a really good thing for them overall. Okay, let's jump over to the grid and cover it. Do you guys, Tron, anyone? Grid from Tron? Okay, let's go. Here we are over at the Tesla.com. This is a Cybertruck landing page. Better utility than a truck with more performance than a sports car. There is some truth to that. You can place pre-orders. I will talk about how many pre-orders have been placed. Now this exoskeleton, which is very impressive, they were hitting it with sledgehammers during the press event. The thing about this is that it uses the same cold rolled stainless steel as that they use in Elon Musk's rocket program. So very impressive technology here that is going over to their, I guess, terrestrial vehicles. So they have some more information about it here. Of course, the look of the vehicle that I do like quite a bit. I'll cover that more once we get back to the main camera. Here's the armor glass that we just talked about. Polymer layered composite can absorb and redirect impact force for improved performance and damage tolerance. Well, it's probably still better than anything out there in its current form, but it needs a lot of refinement to get it where Elon claims it should be already. So the good news, like I said, is they have 2 to 3 years. Of course, they're going to have camping options. That comes with the camper option. And this is something about their website that drives me nuts. You cannot pause on any one of these. Now, the interior, very simple Tesla style. Again, very futuristic, very sharp angles, just like the exterior of the truck. And then you have like this granite dashboard. No one knows if this is real granite or not, but it is something super strange. But I do like everything about this vehicle, and that it's totally against the grain. Here it is in motion. Nothing, I mean, it's just driving down a closed track, so nothing exciting there. Okay, so the specs, guys, this is what we enjoy most probably about Teslas is the incredible performance you get from them. So most of you watching this, you already know the specs, but we're gonna cover it here anyways in case you don't know. The base model, which comes in at $39,900, 0 to 60 in a respectable 6.5 seconds, 250 miles of range, rear wheel drive only. Okay, can tow 7,500 pounds, which is pretty decent. The dual motor, 4.5 seconds 0 to 60. It's getting pretty dang fast for a huge heavy pickup truck. You get a little bit more range, about 50 miles more of range. Of course, you have all-wheel drive on this, and then your towing capacity goes up significantly to 10,000 pounds. And then last but not least, this is the first tri-motor Tesla that we've seen. 0 to 60 in under 2.9 seconds. So under 3 seconds, 0 to 60, super stupid fast for a vehicle of this size. Miles is going to be over 500, which we've never seen in an electric vehicle to my knowledge before. And this is, like I said, is the first ever tri-motor all-wheel drive vehicle. 14,000 pounds of towing capacity. That's getting up there with some of the Super Duty huge turbo diesel motors from the likes of like Dodge and things like that. Okay, let's talk about the styling first. The styling to me is actually appalling, but I understand it. My wife loves pugs. I don't get it. They're ugly, they're hideous to me, but this must kind of feel what it's like. Find the beauty in a pug, and I actually like the look of this vehicle. Don't ask me why. To me, it's probably pulling on the heartstrings of, like I said, the cyberpunk sentimentality that lives in my heart. It's just ridiculous, and I love that it's not the status quo. Every single pickup truck, for the most part, looks pretty much the same. You have different sizes, of course, but when you see a pickup truck coming down the road, they all look the same. So how will this truck do? I have to read my script for this, and I don't have a teleprompter. But how will this truck do in the sea of gas guzzling, ball hanging, cum and sniffing, smoke stacking, fat American truck lovers? Well, it's hard to tell. There's a couple of reasons why. Is such a heavy interest in the traditional pickup truck. Loudness, ridiculousness, blowing smoke on people, at least for the diesels. That's a part of the truck culture. Having huge lift kits. Will you be able to put a lift kit on this? Probably not. Now, is that an issue? Not really, but that is a big factor for the truck community. It also has it was a couple days ago, but it had over 147,000 pre-orders. Now, you can put $100 down to pre-order it, so it's not really a huge investment. However, that tells you how much people are actually interested in buying this vehicle. So that is good to see, at least if you're a Tesla, from Tesla's standpoint. One of the big reasons trucks sell really big in the United States is for work trucks. Companies buy fleets of Fords, Chevys, and Dodges so they can put their workers in them. They can drive to work site, things like that. The thing is with this vehicle will not work in that situation because a lot of times these work sites are outside of town. Even if you spend $70,000 on the 500-mile variant, if you run out of battery, that's just a huge inconvenience to the company. So I don't see it, at least for the time being, it's not going to be viable as a work truck. It will be viable for the weekend warrior dad who goes to Home Depot and picks up like 5 bags of mulch once a year, and then also goes to Home Depot on the other part of the year and picks up a huge smoker, and that way he can validate his purchase to his wife, saying, "Oh, you know, I got to pick up these big things from Home Depot. I got sheetrock, or I got plywood." You know, this truck will do all that, and it should do it just fine. Even the base model will do it just fine as long as you don't live in a crappy climate like the Midwest. The rear-wheel drive with 250 miles of range is going to have plenty enough for most people around town to do these Home Depot type runs, tailgating, things like that. Even the base model should be more than enough. If you're one of those people that pull a boat, I don't know if I could recommend it. And the reason is because most people who pull a boat take it very long distances to pull that boat to water, at least here in the Midwest. Now, if you live closer to the coast, that is a different story altogether. This truck might work a little bit better for you. But for us people in the Midwest, like I live in Nebraska, people drive their boats several hundred miles. Like they drive it from here down to the Lake of the Ozarks. That is a long ways away to pull a boat. But can I recommend this truck? Well, I mean, it's not even out yet, and I haven't got my hands on it or anything like that. It's hard to say at this point. It's coming out in a few years. If you don't have like work needs and you're not traveling very far with it, and you just plan on driving your truck as a commuter or around town, doing small little jobs, but if you're using this truck for your source of income, unless you're a YouTuber, that is something different altogether. But if let's say you do landscaping, this truck won't make sense for you. But every situation is unique and different, and you have to weigh out the pros and cons for yourself. But you have 2 to 3 years before this truck hits to make up your mind on whether you want a conventional diesel or gasoline truck versus this Tesla Cybertruck. And before I let you guys go and we do a wrap up, it would be a mistake for me not to mention Rivian. Rivian's truck will probably be out in the next 2 to 3 years as well. The Rivian has a huge advantage in maneuverability. They have in-wheel motors, so they have a motor on each individual wheel. It can do crazy things like, they call it a tank turn, where it can essentially turn in a circle in the same spot without having to do like a long radius of a turn, if you guys know what I'm saying. Also, it will be a better off-road vehicle too, with the individual in-wheel motors to be able to deliver torque to each individual wheel. And the Rivian definitely looks like a normal truck, and I like the styling of both of it. The Cybertruck definitely plays more towards like my childhood, my inner boy, just gets me feeling like a kid again. And the Rivian's more of a sophisticated upper middle class guy with a comb over, you know. So my final thoughts, the specs are very impressive. There's no denying that. The controversial styling to me is a home run, and with about 150,000 pre-orders, people seem to like it as well, at least like it enough to want to own it. If they're able to bring this vehicle to the market in the form we see it today, I think it will succeed. Is it going to take over the entire truck market? No, no, there's no way. But if they can just carve out a tiny niche of the market like they're doing with their current sedans and Model X, which is a crossover, and which they will be doing the Model Y. I know that vehicle will do very well for them. I think they'll do well. I don't see any reason with the pricing and performance that we see. I see no reason that this truck, as long as it's reliable, I see no reason that it wouldn't have its own place in the pickup truck market. And props to Tesla and Elon Musk for debuting such a radical vehicle. Looks like something that's straight out of Tron or something like Blade Runner. Guys, if you haven't seen those movies, do yourself a favor. Do yourself a favor. This truck will make a lot more sense, because those sort of type of movies had to inspire Elon and the design team with the overall design of this vehicle. But yeah, props to them, because it takes massive courage, balls, cojones, whatever you want to call it, to come to market with such a controversial design. And it's such a counter image of the modern truck that sells in gajillions here in the States. So as a Lexus and Toyota fanboy, I have to say I'm impressed. I give it a thumbs up. Time will tell though, but Tesla's already has a pretty good reputation to them, so I think this vehicle will do well for them. If you guys are new to the channel and you like the content, feel free to subscribe and like for more videos like this. This is my first ever Lexus Toyota fanboy reaction video to other vehicles that are, I guess, very, very popular in the news and the market. I just like cars in general. And coming from a Lexus and Toyota background, you know, I think my opinion is just a little bit different than the normal consensus out there possibly. So I'll see you guys in the comments below. Patrons, you guys kick ass. I'll see you guys in the next video. Until next time, peace out.